today is Super Sunday, Sabbath Sunday, whatever you want to call it. For me, it's Sabbath Sunday and my day of rest, sort of, but this isn't work for me. This is service. And so I just appreciate being able to have this platform. And that handsome guy that you see right there, that's my firstborn, my Sean. And I fondly call him Sheeny. So that's my Sheeny. Sean, would you like to say anything to our audience before we get started?
Yeah, of course. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy to be on the channel for the first time, getting to, share the word and, hopefully just, share a nice moment with you all on this Sunday. So happy to be here.
Great. And thank you, my love. Okay, everyone. So I'll say a quick prayer. I don't know if I did that yesterday. I got so distracted by just being live, but I want to just start with prayer. Lord, thank you for every single soul represented here today. We pray for them and everyone that they love. Please give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to gain some insight and inspiration from your text that we can use in our lives today. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So here's our quick review. Yes, yesterday we covered Deuteronomy 13 through 16, and in the 16th chapter we went to verse 17. So today in our chronological read, we got to read 16, the rest of 16 through 20. So quite a bit of reading again today. That's why I got my troops online with me. So Sean's going to help me with the reading today. Thank you, honey, again. And my sweet dear Mika helped me out yesterday. Hey, Mika, thanks again. So here's a quick review about yesterday. Chapter 13 was all about Moses reminding the Israelites about God's laws. In fact, the whole book of Deuteronomy is all about Moses teaching the new generation God's laws before they enter into the promised land. So 13 was about how to deal with people who worship other idols. So what I gathered from 13, put to death by public stoning. And then if a town is caught practicing, they said destroy the whole town and do not rebuild it. So there's very strong penalties for idol worship. Chapter 14 was all about clean and unclean food, diet restrictions. I won't reiterate what those are because we covered it already in Leviticus 11. He's just reminding the new generation of those laws of clean and unclean food. So you can read that later if you like. Chapter 15 was about the sabbatical year. That is the year of release. So every seventh year, if someone owes a debt, they're supposed to be allowed to forego that debt. And every seventh year, if someone owns slaves, the slaves has the choice to leave or stay. And if they want to stay with their owner, then that owner can let them stay. But if they want to leave, the owner has to let them leave, plus give them livestock and cattle and all these things as they head off on their own because their slave ship is over. Yeah, slavery was way back in the Bible time. It's not a new thing at all. So that's all I'm gonna say about it. 16, the beginning of 16 was about the Passover, and we did read chapters 1 through 17 in chapter 16, and that was about them just remind Moses is telling them about the Passover laws and what that means. And if you recall, right before Pharaoh let the children of Israel go, God sent that plague. And if the plague was every firstborn was to die, but if you had blood above your doorpost, which all the Israelites did, then that plague passed over your house. And so he's telling you according to your tribes, and they shall judge the people with righteous judgment. You shall not pervert justice. You shall not show partiality, and you shall not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of the righteous. 20. Justice and only justice you shall follow, that you may live and inherit the land that your Lord your God is giving you. You shall not plant any tree as in Asherah beside the altar of the Lord your God that you shall make, and you shall not set up a pillar which the Lord your God hates. All right, so that was the end of chapter 16. Let's move on to 17. And again, I'll summarize tomorrow. 17. You shall not sacrifice to the Lord your God an ox or a sheep in which a blemish, any defect, whatever, for that is an abomination to the Lord your God. If there is found among you within any of your towns that the Lord your God is giving you, a man or woman who does what is evil in the sight of the Lord your God in transgressing his covenant, and he has gone and served other gods and worshiped them, or the sun, or the moon, or any of the host of heaven, which I have forbidden, and it is told you, and you hear of it, then you shall inquire diligently, and if it is true and certain that such an abomination has been done in Israel, then you shall bring out to your gates that man or woman who has done that evil thing, and you shall stone that man or woman to death with stones. Verse 6. On the evidence of two witnesses or three witnesses, the one who is to die shall be put to death. A person shall not be put to death on the evidence of one witness. The hands of the witness shall be first against him to put to death, and afterwards the hand of all the, especially the full moon. But I always say, but God created that. So it's good to admire, but not to worship it. All right, so I'll just keep going. Verse 8. If any case arises requiring decisions between one kind of homicide and another, one kind of legal right and another, or one kind of assault and another, any case within your towns that is too difficult for you, then you shall arise and go up to the place that the Lord your God will choose. Verse 9. And you shall come to the Levitical priest and to the judge who is in office in those days, and you shall consult them, and they shall declare to you the decision. Then you shall do according to what they declare to you from that place that the Lord will choose. And you shall be careful to do according to all that they direct you, according to the instructions that they give you, and according to the decision which they pronounce to you, you shall do. You shall not turn aside from the verdict that they declare to you, either to the right hand or to the left. The man who acts presumptuously by not obeying the priest who stands to minister there before the Lord your God, or the judge, that man shall die. So you shall purge the evil from Israel, and all the people shall hear and fear and not act presumptuously again. All right, we're still in Deuteronomy 17. I'm on verse 14. Laws concerning Israel's kings. 14. When you come to the land that the Lord your God is giving you, and you possess it and dwell in it, and then say, I will set a king over me like all the nations that are around me. You may indeed set a king over you, whom the Lord your God will choose. One from among your brothers you shall set as king over you. You may not put a foreigner over you who is not your brother. Only he must not acquire many horses for himself or cause the people to return to Egypt in order to acquire many horses, since the Lord has said to you, you shall never return that way again. 17. And he shall not acquire many wives for himself, lest his heart turns away, nor shall he acquire for himself excessive silver and gold. 18. And when he sits on the throne of his kingdom, he shall write for himself in a book a copy of this law, approved by the Levitical priest, and it shall be with him, and he shall read in it all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God by keeping all the words of this law and these statutes and doing them. 20. That his heart may not be lifted up above his brothers, and that he may not turn aside from commandment, either to the right or to the left, so that he may continue long in his kingdom, he and his children in Israel. All right, good. So that was chapter 17. I'm going to click over to 18. Sean, are you ready? Chapter
Yeah.
chapter 18, you ready? All right,
Yep.
my
Yep.
Sean's going to help me with the reading. Go ahead, honey.
Yep. So, provision for priests and Levites. The Levitical priests, all the tribe of Levi, shall have no portion or inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the Lord's food offerings as their inheritance. They shall have no inheritance among their brothers. The Lord is their inheritance, as he promised them. And this shall be the priests due from the people, from those suffering a sacrifice, whether an ox or a sheep, they shall give to the priest the shoulder and the two cheeks and the stomach, the first fruits of your grain, of your wine, and of your oil, and the first fleece of your sheep you shall give him. For the Lord your God has chosen him out of all your tribes to stand and minister in the name of the Lord, him and his sons for all time. And if a Levite comes from any of your towns out of all Israel, where he lives, and he may come when he desires to the place that the Lord will choose, and ministers in the name of the Lord his God, like all his fellow Levites who stand and minister there before the Lord, then he may have equal portions to eat, besides what he receives from the sale of his patrimony.
Okay.
Absolutely. Abominable practices. When you come into the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominable practices of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who burns his son or his daughter as an offering, anyone who practices divination, or tells fortunes, or interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or a charmer, or a medium, or a necromancer, or one who inquires of the dead. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord, and because of these abominations, the Lord your God is driving them out before you. You shall be blameless before the Lord your God. For these nations which you are about to dispossess, listen to fortune tellers and to diviners. But as for you, the Lord your God has not allowed you to do this.
Okay. Very
A
clear.
Yep, absolutely. And then a new prophet like Moses, the Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your brothers. It is to him you shall listen, just as you desired of the Lord your God at Horeb of the day of the assembly, when you said, let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God, or see this great fire any more, lest I die. And the Lord said to me, they are right in what they have spoken. I will raise up for them like a prophet like you from among their brothers, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And whoever will not listen to my words, that he shall speak in my name, I myself will require it of him. But the prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name that I have not commanded him to speak, or who speaks in the name of other gods, that same prophet shall die. And if you say in your heart, how may we know the word that the Lord has not spoken? When a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, if the word does not come to pass or come true, that is a word that the Lord has not spoken. The prophet has spoken it presumptuously. You need not be afraid of him.
All right. Thank you, honey. Great job. All right. And here's our last, actually, next to the last, Deuteronomy 19. And again, I'll summarize tomorrow before our new reading. When the Lord your God cuts off the nations whose land the Lord your God is giving you, and you dispossess them and dwell in their cities and in their houses, you shall set apart 3 cities for yourselves in the land that the Lord your God is giving you to possess. You shall measure the distance and divide into 3 parts the area of the land that the Lord your God gives you as a possession, so that any manslayer can flee to them. Verse 4. This is the provision for the manslayer, who by fleeing there may save his life. If anyone kills his neighbor unintentionally without having hated him in the past, as when someone goes into the forest with his neighbor to cut wood, and his hand swings the axe to cut down a tree, and the head slips from the handle of the handle and strikes his neighbor so that he dies, he may flee to one of these cities and live. I'm gonna pause real quick. I'm gonna keep my finger where I left off. This little part kind of made me chuckle. It's like, so this is the law of the manslayer. So if you accidentally kill someone, so it's saying if you accidentally kill them in the woods and the head of the axe flies off the handle and hits him in the head and kills him, that's an accident. But the example kind of made me laugh, right? Just like when we read it the other day, the example was if a boulder accidentally drops on the head of a neighbor. I'm like, whoa, look out for those boulders. And I'm not going in the woods to chop down no wood with nobody, because that axe handle might come off and knock me in the head. Anyway, that's my little funny. Let me keep going. Let me stay focused. I'm still on verse 6. Lest the avenger of blood in hot anger pursues the manslayer and overtakes him, because the way is long, and strike him fatally, though the man did not deserve to die, since he had not hated his neighbor in the past. Verse 7. Therefore I command you, you shall set apart 3 cities, and if the Lord your God enlarges your territory as he has sworn to your fathers and gives you all the land that he promised to give to your fathers. 9. Provided you are careful to keep all this commandment, which I command you today, by loving the Lord your God and by walking ever in his ways, then you shall add 3 other cities to these 3 cities, lest innocent blood be shed in your land that the Lord your God has given you for an inheritance, and so the guilt of bloodshed be upon you. Oh, that just kind of made sense to me. So God is granting them these cities of refuge so that in his holy land, in their area, no innocent blood is ever shed. So, okay. I just connected that myself. Verse 11. But if anyone hates his neighbor and lies in wait for him and attacks him and strikes him fatally so that he dies and he flees into one of these cities, then the elders of the city shall.
Oh, hey, mom.
The men of old have set in the inheritance that you will hold in the land that the Lord your God is giving you to possess. 15. Laws concerning witnesses. A single witness shall not suffice against a person for any crime or for any wrong in connection with an offense that he has committed. Only on the evidence of 2 witnesses or of 3 witnesses shall a charge be established. If a malicious witness arises to accuse a person of wrongdoing, then both parties to the dispute shall appear before the Lord, before the priests and the judges who are in office in those days. 18. The judges shall inquire diligently, and if the witness is a false witness and has accused his brother falsely, then you shall do to him as he had meant to do to his brother. So you shall purge the evil from your midst. 20. And the rest shall hear and fear, and shall never again commit any such evil among you. Your eye shall not pity, if it shall be life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, and foot for foot. Wow, God's justice. He's laying it down. Uh-oh, look like I froze up. I'm still talking. You can still hear me, Sean?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Am I moving to you?
No, it's just a black screen right now.
Oh,
And I think I lost audio now too.
let me come see if I can come back. But you can still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh well, but you can't see me.
Nope.
Oh, the joys of technology. All right. Well, that's okay. We're just about done with our reading. Laws concerning warfare. Oh my, there's a lot more to go. You might have to read all the rest by yourself, Sean. Just kidding. You want to take this one? You want to take 20?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go ahead. And I'm gonna fool with my camera.
All right. Laws concerning warfare. When you go out to war against your enemies and see horses and chariots and an army larger than your own, you shall not be afraid of them, for the Lord your God is with you, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. And when you draw near to the battle, the priest shall come forward and speak to the people, and shall say to them, Hear, O Israel, today you are drawing near for battle against your enemies. Let not your heart faint. Do not fear or panic or be in the dread of them, for the Lord your God is he who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies to give you the victory. Then the officers shall speak to the people, saying, Is there any man who has built a new house and has not dedicated it? Let him go back to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it. And is there any man who has planted a vineyard and has not enjoyed its fruit? Let him go back to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man enjoy its fruit. And is there any man who has betrothed a wife and has not taken her? Let him go back to the house, lest he die in the battle, and another man take her. And the officers shall speak further to the people and say, Is there any man who is fearful and faint hearted? Let him go back to his house, lest he make the heart of his fellows melt like his own. And and when the officers have finished speaking to the people, then commanders shall be appointed at the head of the people. When you draw near to a city to fight against it, offer terms of peace to it. And if it responds to you peaceably and it opens to you, then all the people who are found in it shall do forced labor for you and shall serve you. But if it makes no peace with you, but makes war against you, then you shall besiege it. And when the Lord your God gives it into your hand, you shall put all its males to the sword, but the women and the little ones, the livestock, and everything else in the city, all its spoil, you shall take as plunder for yourselves. And you shall enjoy the spoil of your enemies, which the Lord your God has given you. Thus you shall do to all the cities that are very far from you, which are not cities of the nations here, but in the cities of these peoples that the Lord your God is giving you for an inheritance. You shall save alive nothing that breathes, but you shall devote them to complete destruction. The Hittites and the Amorites, the Canaanites and the Perizzites, the Hivites and the Jebusites, as the Lord your God has commanded, and that they may not teach you to do according to all their abominable practices that they have done for their gods, and so you sin against the Lord your God. When you besiege a city for a long time, making war against it in order to take it, you shall not destroy its trees by wielding an axe against them. You may eat from them, but you shall not cut them down. Are the trees and the human feet and the field human that they should be besieged by you? Only the trees that you know are not trees for food you may destroy and cut down, that you may build siege works against the city that makes war with you until it falls.
Excellent. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate you standing in the gap for your mama. I appreciate it. Can you see me now?
No, I can't.
You still can't see me?
Nope.
That's so crazy because I can see myself. So that's what's tripping me out. But that's okay. I'm still here. Thank you for that. All right. So let's click the next chapter. You just stay there and look handsome, buddy. They'll appreciate seeing you over me anyway. They've been seeing me forever. Is that my grand dog behind you? Is that Lily
Oh
Lily?
yeah, did you catch a little glimpse of her?
Yeah, put Lily Lily in your lap. I'm gonna
Oh,
do the reading.
okay.
You're off the hook, so you could just sit there and look cute with my grand dog. Hey everybody, look at Lily. That's my grand dog. Hi Lily. All right, let me finish this up. It's just a short paragraph. We're in Deuteronomy 21, and I have to read from up to, I don't know, it just says to the ninth verse. Okay. If in the land that the Lord your God is giving you to possess, someone is found slain, lying in an open country, and it is not known who killed him, then your elders and your judges shall come out, and they shall measure the distance to the surrounding cities. And the elders of the city that is nearest to the slain man shall take a heifer that has never been worked and that has not pulled in a yoke. And the elders of that city shall bring their heifer down to the valley with running water, which is neither plowed nor sworn, and shall break the heifer's neck there in the valley. A heifer is a cow, by the way. I think a baby cow, a young cow. Then the priests, the sons of Levi, shall come forward, for the Lord your God has chosen them to minister to him and to bless in the name of the Lord. And by their word, every dispute and every assault shall be settled. And all the elders of that city nearest to the slain man shall wash their hands over the heifer whose neck was broken in the valley. And they shall testify, our hands did not shed this blood, nor did our eyes see it shed. Accept atonement, O Lord, for your people Israel, whom you have redeemed, and do not set the guilt of innocent blood in the midst of your people Israel, so that their blood guilt be atoned for. So you shall purge the guilt of innocent blood from your midst when you do what is right in the sight of the Lord. Whew, amen. All right, friends, that is all I have for our reading today. I'll go ahead and quickly do my Facebook shout outs and then we can go, especially since I'm still on black screen, huh, Sheen?
Yep.
Oh well. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me, hun. All right, Skylar, the grandson of my dear friend Juanita, her grandson turned 6, I believe, yesterday, or at least they celebrated yesterday. And Sean, our neighborhood friend Jason, our buddy Jason, he has a birthday today. So happy birthday, Jason. And
Nice.
my childhood friend Melissa, she has a birthday. Happy birthday, Melissa. And another childhood friend, Cheryl, her son Jimmy the Gent had a birthday today. So happy birthday to everyone who has birthdays, and belated to anyone whose birthday I might have missed. And again, thank you for being here, everyone. And thank you, Sean, for being here. Make sure you thank my beautiful daughter-in-law to be that for allowing you this time, because I know this is valuable weekend time. Can you just tell everyone where you are and maybe what's the weather like over there right now?
Yeah, so I'm close to Seattle, Washington. I'd say right now the weather is probably around like kind of like mid 40s. It's kind of chilly, but not too
Yeah.
bad. It was raining all day yesterday, but so far today it's just clear skies. So we'll see how long that lasts.
Yep. Surprise, it's raining in Seattle, friends. All right, Sheen. Well, mom will call you later and thank you again off camera. But everyone else, have a wonderful rest of your Sabbath or Super Sunday. Bye. Bye, Sean. Love you.
Love you too.